Islam, peace, hotep, greetings. This is Canaanland Moors class for July 9th, 2013. Today's class is going to be called or dealing with the avalanche of lies. But as usual, before we do that, gonna get our little bills out the way. Saturday, September 21st and Sunday, September 22nd. Japanese Canadian Cultural Center, 6 Garamond Court, Don Mills and Eglinton. You have the Toronto Naturals Natural Hair Show and Beauty Show. You can go to torontonaturals.ca for more information. All right, there's their flyer. So this is a sister that that I went to school with. So every year that she has her event, we make it a point to support the sister because she's doing good work for the community to bring information dealing with our natural selves, right? The show actually just stepped up from 1 day to 2 days, so now it's a 2-day event, right? Saturday, September 21st and Sunday, September 22nd, right? Free and paid workshops. Canaanland Moors will be there vending, getting the information out to the people about nationality and birthrights. There's going to be fashion shows, hair shows, entertainment. So it's a good event. If you're in the city, make sure you support the sister. Again, it's September 21st, 2013, September 22nd, 2013, and you could go to torontonaturals.ca if you want to get some online information about the hair show. All right, and that's Toronto Naturals and Natural Butterfly presentation. All right, and again, it's going to be at the Japanese Canadian Cultural Center, 6 Garamond Court, Don Mills and Eglinton. torontonaturals.ca. Contact number 416-580-5309 or 647-858-4247. Next up, Canaanland Moors presents the Master Teacher Taj Tariq Bey lecture. This is going to be at the new temple, the new and improved Moor Science Temple of America in our jurisdiction called Canaanland. And that event, or this event, is going to be on Sunday, July 14th, 2013, 6:30 p.m. or 4:30 p.m. sorry, to 6:30 p.m. The address for the temple is 2533A Eglinton Avenue West at Richardson Avenue. All right. The admission is 10 notes, and Brother Taj is going to be lecturing on quo warrantos, proper status, and estate. So you already know what it is. You don't even have to go further about anything with regard to this. You already know. If you don't know, go on YouTube, go on rvbaypublications.com, YouTube search Taj Tariq Bey, and start getting that knowledge on, because Brother Taj doesn't play. All right, and keep in mind, the week after, the Sunday after this, we're going to be having a lecture with Brother Fonteas, and the lecture after that, we're going to be having a lecture with one of the new Moors with their eyes wide open, seeing and knowing that Noble Drew Ali talked about, Brother Casanova Bey, right, from out of Milwaukee. And that should be a very interesting presentation as well. So just to put it on the record again, July 14th, which is this Sunday, 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Brother Taj is going to be lecturing on quo warranto, proper status, and estate, and it's at 2533A Eglinton Avenue West. for information, there's the temple number. If anybody else is, if you need some information, you can contact the temple at 647-748-6664. And the other information number is 416-301-7216. Any information with regard to the Moorish paradigm, nationality, birthrights, whatever, feel free, feel absolutely free to give us a call. All right. Next up, this is next week, Thursday, July 18th, 2013, at the Phoenix Concert Theater. Yasin Bey is going to be in town, right? And you already know who Yasin Bey is. I'm going to put his picture, and you see the name right there, the formerly known as name, right? And opening for Brother Yasin Bey is One Oak. So if you're looking for some hip-hop with content out of Toronto, and you know you're getting tired of listening to Iron Sheik over and over and over again, go YouTube search One Oak. All right, these are some brothers that's been in the community, right, been putting it down, been keeping it conscious, been for the people, and finally, we could see that there's some progression for the good brothers of One Oak. So I want to say big up to the family. And also, too, we want to say R.I.P. to Blue, right? Another One Oak member that's only with us in the essence now. But, we already know what's good, right? With regard to Yasin Bey, we were talking about the avalanche of lies, right? The avalanche of lies is a statement that Noble Drew Ali made reference to the Moors, speaking about what we have to deal with as Moors because of all this misinformation that's out there, right? He described it as an avalanche of lies, and the only way that we would get out of the avalanche of lies is to have our own press, so we can tell the truth about ourselves, and we don't have to rely on other people to tell the truth about the Moors, right? Because as we know, when we get into this information, or when you get into this information, or people start researching Moors, Noble Drew Ali, or whatever, the spiral is going to be toward the negative, right? There are people talking about Moors put people in slavery. People talking about Noble Drew Ali's a Mason and he copied Levi Dowling, Aquarian Gospel. Moors are Masons because they wear fezzes or whatever, right? So there's a lot of misinformation out there with regard to the Moors, right? And the position of Moorish Americans is to study what the Prophet brought so that we can have reference points in order to correct these misconceptions that people have about the Moorish movement, right? Another information position is that, well, it doesn't matter what you call yourself, or you call yourself black, Negro, whatever, it doesn't matter, because I know the Moors are, and then they're going to quote something that Seti said, or King Noble, or one of these joker Moor haters said, right, in order to justify their position, right? And it's funny that you have people like Seti out there, and you go on his website and he backs Dr. Ben, like 150 million% he backs Dr. Ben. But Dr. Ben has a doctorate in Moorish history, right? But he's going to go bash the Moors, talk crap about the Moors, but the person who he upholds as the individual that, is giving him, the inspiration to do what he does, has a doctorate in Moorish history, right? If that's not hypocrisy at its highest heights, right, then stay black and continue listening to these nerds and these clowns out there, right, who's pushing avalanche of lies, right? Speaking about avalanche of lies, right, the reason why this class was called Avalanche of Lies is because on the weekend I got a text message from somebody, right, and what I had to do was basically put this on the record so people could know the avalanche of lies that we're dealing with out here, right? So this is the message, right? I got 2 calls in the past few weeks about you, meaning myself, your temple calling CAS system on me. Now this is from a sister out here, and CAS is basically the Children's Aid Services, Child Protective Services, or whatever out here, right? For what, I don't know, but that's wicked if it's true. You couldn't be a Moor if you're into CAS. CAS is a pedophile, sex freak, faggot, white supremacy, Willie Lynch genocide, anti-humanity slave agency. And anybody who supports that place, especially if their dark skin isn't a god or goddess. Any evil one puts on me and my heirs, I already put 1,000 times worse back on them. The twins have gone through hell and aren't even going to live long. Forget CAS and black sellouts. They could never touch them again. Know that. That message you can pass on to your crew. So I'm just putting it out there, pass it on to the crew, to all the Moors online, all the Moors that, follow Canaanland Moors. When you see this class, right, know that there's dirty nigger Moors in Canaanland that are spreading the avalanche of lies on one of the most active temples in the Moorish movement, right? Meaning Canaanland Moors, Moorish Science Temple, Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Divine and National Movement out here, right? Now, when I questioned the sister on who it was, she's saying that she can't say who it is because she doesn't want to be labeled a snitch, and she doesn't want blah blah blah, nothing to come back to her, or whatever, right? So I'm putting it out there. Since she doesn't want to say nothing, we just put it out there that this is what's going on, right? So keep in mind that on top of people calling, people spreading propaganda that we're calling children's services on people, right? Which we put the information out there that children's services in Toronto head office is on Isabella Street, and we know Isabella was the one who linked with Ferdinand to expel the Moors out of Spain. So we already know their MO, right? And we don't push any support of children's aid services, right? CAS. You just Google them and get your scoop on children's aid services, right? But on top of that, get a call. I got it maybe in the past 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks. I got some calls from some Moors, and honors to these Moors for being dignitaries, for being upfront and upright, right? I got some calls from some Moors saying that there's Moors in Canaanland, right, who are going around to all these different Moorish groups and Moorish organizations or whatever, trying to get warrant of authorities so they can start more science temples in this jurisdiction out here. And because Cujo Aduel is out there, like I don't hide myself, you can get hold of me, numbers online, email me, Facebook, whatever, right? You could reach me, right? Because I'm out there, right? These Moors took it on themselves to call me to find out what's up, because active Moors know that in the Moorish Divine and National Movement, there's hierarchical structure, right? And the hierarchical structure has Allah at the top, and then you have the Prophet, and then you have the heads of the different temples, right? And some heads of temples have more than one title. So I don't talk about it, but I'll put it on the record. As far as Canaanland is concerned, and the Moorish movement, Qudra El is the Grand Governor for Canaanland. So anybody that has anything to do in Canaanland, they have to come talk to the governor, just like, you know, how it is in the corporate state or whatever, right? You have the governor is the one that you go talk to. You can't do anything with the president until you talk with the governor. If the governor doesn't see you, president's not seeing you, right? So they know about this protocol, and they took it on themselves to contact the Grand Governor personally, just to make sure, you know, well, you know, we just want to check to see what's going on, because, you know, why wouldn't these Moors who are in your jurisdiction, Grand Governor, come to you to get warrant of authorities and charters, right? So come to find out, these are some dirty Moors, you know, they know who they are. These are some dirty Moors that left the temple, and now, you know, they're going around trying, because, you know, we got names, so, you know, they already verified who this individual and his little minions are, right? They're going around trying to get authority from Moors outside of this jurisdiction to set up in this jurisdiction, when they could just come to the temple, you know, get down with the temple out here, and, you know, you get anything that you want, right? We have warrant of authorities in Montreal, right? We're working on Moorish warrants of authority in British Columbia, in Calgary, in Saskatchewan, right? Because there's Moors all over Canaanland. You know, don't think it's igloos or whatever out here, right? There's Moors out here. And we just got 2 jurisdictions within the so-called, you know, Greater Toronto area, right? The area around Toronto. We got Grand Governor Tallahassee L. Bay in Mississauga, and we have Grand Governor Amari L. Bay in Brampton, right? So we're locking down out here, right? So it's not hard to get, you know, your authority to do whatever you want to do in your jurisdiction in order to get the word of the Prophet and the movement out. But, you know, the avalanche of lies that is annually let loose upon us, as Noble Drew Ali talked about, is being pushed at, you know, at warp speed right now. Because, again, it's about 2 weeks ago, I got the call from a Moor who told me that these Moors are trying to, you know, and this is what the Moor is saying. The Moor is saying that these Moors are trying to get behind you. They're trying to get from me, right, what you're supposed to be giving them. And they're not saying why they're not going to you. They're just saying that they want it, they need it, they have to get blah, blah, blah. But they're not saying. So I need to verify why they're not coming to you before I give them anything, is what the Grand Governor in that jurisdiction was saying, right? So there's dirty Moors out there, right? That's why we stick to the protocol of RV Bay Publications, Moorish Guideposts, Moorish Civil Letter, Moorish Nation Public Records, Canaanland Moors. It was open, Canaanland Moors. And we don't move from those Moors, those active Moors. You can also go on youtube.com/made tangible, MADE tangible. And that's Brother Fonteas's YouTube, where he's uploading stuff and information. This is not what we're saying, yo. Right. That's good. See? Right? Yeah, do your thing, yo. Right? So it's very important for the people to know that there are dirty Moors out there, right? This is not just, talking or trying to create conflict or whatever, right? There are dirty Moors out there. And believe me that there's dirty Moors out there, because they tried to sell me packages when we first came into this movement. And those Moors know who they are. They got universities and all that online set up now, and they have a different name and all that. Many Moors out there try to sell me packages. Moors who I don't even know how they got my number try to sell me packages. $600 packages, right? And this is not stuff that I put out because whatever. But we're dealing with avalanche of lies today, so we're just gonna put some things out there so people know. All right? So be careful. If you haven't yet, make sure you go on Canaanland Moors and watch the class called Be Careful. Because one Moor got charged $3,500 for nationality, if you didn't ever hear that before, right? That's how dirty Moors are out there. $3,500 for nationality. Imagine you paying $3,500 for nationality that's supposed to be free. That's the kind of dirty Moors that's out there that you have to watch out for, right? So again, we're going to rewind, we're going to go back again, right? So we're saying Mos Def, right? AKA Mos Def. Right? So there's a video right now floating around called Mos Def Force-Fed Guantanamo Bay video, right? And it's crazy, right, that they use Yasin Bey for the Guantanamo Bay video, right? Okay? So made by human rights charity Reprieve and BAFTA award-winning director Asif Kapadia, the film shows U.S actor and rapper formerly known as Mos Def experiencing the procedure. You can watch it online at www.guardian.co.uk/Mos-Def-Force/Guantanamo-Bay-video. Right? The video launches a campaign to rally support for Guantanamo prisoners who are on a hunger strike in protest against their detention without charge or trial. Right? Again, protesting against their detention without charge or trial. Right? That's similar to concentration camp. We'll just call it that. Right? The campaign asks members of the public to undertake their own short-term hunger strikes in solidarity with the prisoners and donate the time to support them, while also raising the issue with their political representatives. The website is standfastforjustice.org. Consolidates the total number of hours of hunger striking taken in this way. Prisoners in Guantanamo Bay have been hunger striking since February this year, with the total number involving now well over 100. The strike is in protest against their ongoing detention, despite the vast majority of prisoners never having been charged or tried, and over half the remaining population having even been cleared for release by the U.S government. Right? Keep in mind, right? By the U.S government. Right? Keep in mind that the U.S government is a private foreign corporation, and being that they're private and foreign, right, they are violating Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution, that states the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion and on application of the legislature or of the executive when the legislature cannot be convened against domestic violence. Right? So the U.S government is pushing the perspective of democracy. Like they say that out their own mouth, that this is a democracy. Even here they say, yeah, the Canadian democracy, and then everybody thinks that the Canadian democracy is the form of government that the people are the ones that are in charge and they tell the government what to do.
Yeah.
When democracy is mob rule, right? Suit and tie, you know what I mean? Take you in the back, you know, cut your body up, put you in a barrel, you're Patrice Lumumba, right? That's democracy, and republic is really what
is where the people have a say.
Where the people have a say.
The republic is of the people for the people.
Right. And then if you go check all the islands were republics at one time, right? And then they lost that position, right? Because they wanted to show allegiance to European nations who had assumed authority of sovereign power. And they figure if we get down with them, then they're whatever. But then all those European nations that claimed, you know, the French, the whatever, all these, right?
Guys,
all of them sold out all those islands to the IMF. Yeah. And now the IMF owns all those islands.
IMF really owns.
Yeah.
You know,
right?
They're owning a lot nowadays.
Right.
IMF owns some stuff.
Right. However, their peaceful protests has met with an increasingly aggressive response from camp authorities, including force feeding and violent procedures known as forcible cell extractions, FCEs. Commenting, Reprive's director and attorney for Guantanamo prisoners, Clive Stafford Smith, says President Obama could take the steps needed to release cleared prisoners from Guantanamo anytime he likes, but so far has lacked the political courage to do so. We hope that public solidarity with the hunger strikers in Guantanamo will persuade him to change his mind. Right? So when you go watch the video or whatever, you know, like they give most Yassin Bey the force feed.
They do it like
they do it on him, yeah, like they do it on him, right?
Guantanamo.
So there's a part on it where, you know, like they did it to him, and then they pulled out the thing, and then they were gonna do it again or whatever, you know, and you know, like you can see because the Europeans that are holding them down, and like they have them strapped down in the chair, forehead strap or whatever, right? They have them like strapped in, right?
Force feeding you,
and he's fighting them, holding him. And you're seeing the Europeans' blood rushing to their hands or whatever, their hands are turning red or whatever, you know what I mean? So you're seeing this going on, and then, like, he makes a statement. He's telling them, you know, no, I can't do this, you know what I mean? And they're treating him like the real, like the prisoner, right? Like they're treating him, they had him in the orange jumpsuit, everything, right? Treating him like the real prisoner. And then he drops the one. Okay, yeah, stop. They're not stopping. Come on, stop. Don't do it anymore. No, I can't do it no more. Whatever. You know what I mean? And then he drops the one. Yo, it's me. Like, it's me. Like, really. Stop, whatever. And then, you know, it's like they catch themselves. Yo, sorry about that. Man, so, you know, rubbing his back and stuff like that. Man breaks down, starts crying and all this type of stuff. From a practice run.
Yeah, from a test run.
From a test run, right? Now, that test run is a test run on what's coming
to our people,
right? Because remember throughout the whole thing, right? He came up and he said, yeah, this is Yassin Bey, you know, whatever, when he was wearing his street clothes, right? But then they, you know, when they take him out the street clothes and they have him in the video in the orange jumpsuit, it's saying most deaf is force fed, whatever. So basically, you know, they have jurisdiction on him because he's not no most deaf or nothing like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's a free national that gave up his birthright in order to sit down in this thing and do this little practice run thing. Right? And he gets it. When you see the thing, yo,
this is the real deal.
The real deal. He gets it. He gets it. Right?
I don't know if I could.
I don't know if I could sign up. I wouldn't sign up personally
just to try it. Just to
I wouldn't sign up.
I don't know if I.
You know, like high honors to him for signing up. I wouldn't sign up for that. Because yeah, it's pretty intense, yo. It's intense. Yo, you could bust that door still.
Okay.
A little bacon in there. Now the next little letter. We got a couple letters that we're gonna bust today. They're standing on the corner and they can't speak English. I can't even talk the way these people talk. Why you ain't? Where you is? What he drive? Where he stay? Where he work? Who you be? And I blamed the kid until I heard the mother talk. And then I heard the father talk. Everybody knows it's important to speak English except these knuckleheads. You can't be a doctor with that kind of crap coming out your mouth. In fact, you will never get any kind of job making a decent living. People marched and were hit in the face with rocks to get an education, and now we've got these knuckleheads walking around. The lower economic people are not holding up their end of this deal. These people are not parenting. They are buying things for kids, $500 sneakers for what? And they won't spend $200 for Hooked on Phonics. I'm talking about these people who cry when their son is standing there in an orange suit. Where were you when he was 2? Where were you when he was 12? Where were you when he was 18? And how come you didn't know that he had a pistol? And where's the father? Or who is the father? People putting their clothes on backwards. Isn't that a sign of something gone wrong? People with their hats on backwards, pants down around the crack. Isn't that a sign of something? Isn't it a sign of something when she has her dress all the way up and got all types of needle piercings going through her body? Which part of Africa did this come from? We are not Africans. Those people are not Africans. They don't know a thing about Africa. I say this all the time. It will be like white people saying they are European American. That is totally stupid. I was born here, and so were my parents and grandparents, and very likely my great-grandparents. I don't have any connection to Africa, no more than white Americans have to Germany, Scotland, England, Ireland, or the Netherlands. The same applies to 99% of all black Americans as regards to Africa. So stop already. With names like Shaquina, Talika, and Muhammad, and all of that crap, and all of them are in jail. Brown or black versus the Board of Education is no longer the white person's problem. We've got to take the neighborhood back. People used to be ashamed. Today a woman has 8 children with 8 different husbands, or men, whatever you call them now. We have millionaire football players who cannot read. We have $1 million basketball players who can't write 2 paragraphs. We as black folks have to do a better job. Someone working at Walmart with 7 kids, you are hurting us. We have to start holding each other to a higher standard. We cannot blame the white people any longer. Bill Cosby. Right?
And people were offended when Bill
slapped them in the face
came with this one, and you know,
right?
people
Slapped
were offended when Bill said some stuff, right?
But they weren't offended when he was selling them Jello,
yeah,
pork bones Jello.
Right? Yeah.
They're not offended about that, but
no.
They're gonna take some offense when, you know, like one of the Moors said, you know, Bill Cosby put up the mirror to our people so we could see how ugly we are, right? Okay.
It's easy to attack Bill and just say he's wrong, but what if he's not wrong?
Right.
What if you gotta upgrade your
exactly, step your game up. You know what I mean? Right? Avalanche of lies, right? Ding Hu, Chinese, is a Chinese volleyball player who plays Liberto for Zhejiang Volleyball Club and the China men's national volleyball team. He is notable as the first black athlete to be selected for a Chinese national sports team. Ding's appearance as a black player on the national sporting scene is nothing new, as many football players in the Chinese Super League are black. Nor is he the first non-ethnic Chinese person to represent China at international events. He is unique in that he is the first Chinese national. Right? He's the first Chinese national.
Mama and daddy's from China. His grandparents from China.
First Chinese national with black African ancestry representing a Chinese national team, and his selection to the team garnered widespread media attention. Blah blah blah. Right? Dinghui is his name. Right?
Oh, okay.
And this is the brother right here. Looks like some brothers around here. We went to high school or whatever. Right? Right? With the afro and everything. Right? Not no straight hair.
No.
You know what I mean? Yellow guy. Right? Right? Asiatic.
Ding.
Right? Ding. Name's Ding and everything.
Background is a private matter.
Right? Yeah. Right?
So he's a national. He's not just a citizen of China.
A citizen of China.
He's not just a citizen
of national.
China. He's a national.
Chinese national. Right? And you know, whatever the they're saying black African for over here that's reading that. But there's other pictures with him, and you know what I mean. He's chilling with
Regular.
them, like
Yeah,
he's,
regular. Home.
He's home,
He's home.
right? He's home, right? Lu Jing, right? Lu Jing, dubbed the Black Pearl and Chocolate Girl. Her rise to fame culminated in the heated discussions on the Chinese blog sphere. While some comments on internet forums expressed support, some comments insulted Lu and her mother with racist remarks, blah, blah, blah. Right? Loujing. Lu Jing. Right? And this is Lu Jing. Right?
And that's her mom's.
Yeah, and there's moms. It's Mom Dukes, right? So-called African American father and Chinese mother. Right? Sister all in China.
And they call her the Black Pearl?
They call her the Black Pearl. Right? Just so we can see that we're everywhere.
Yeah,
right?
trust me.
Just like Islam to brother Bakari Bey. It's more that been building with that was ex-military, and he was in Desert Storm and all those ones.
Like the 90s,
yeah, like he's like
those ones.
The real deal ones.
He was okay.
And
on the
he's
ground,
talking about right? And he's talking about when he went to Iran and these places, right? That it's dark-skinned people that he's seeing there. Not the people that they show us from over there. Dark-skinned people darker than me over there.
Regular.
Afros and all that. Regular.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every day, walking the street up and down.
And they're not just visitors. They're not just working there temporarily. They're not.
They're there.
They're nationals.
They're nationals, right? Even though, those jurisdictions are Middle East, which is fraud or whatever. But, they're from that side. You know what I mean? Right? Insuni, Insooni, was born to, yet again, African American father. Right? It's funny all the dads are African American. And South Korean mother.
So it's the dad.
Right? Her upbringing was fraught with difficulties from discrimination against minorities, which was severe during the time in South Korea. Insuni has commented that while attending school, I felt like I was dirty compared to my classmates. Right? And there's Insuni.
And that's who.
Right? The afro and everything. Korean. Like she's like.
But she still looks Korean. Like
she has that.
You can see the balance.
Yeah,
you can see the balance. Both sides, right?
Right. And she's apparently like the most popular singer or whatever.
Oh, in
Korea.
Okay. Really?
Yeah. Like she's big time.
Like her pops from like the Korean War, or like he just went there,
that's
or
what,
like
that's
a
what
UN
it
man,
seems
or
like.
he's just.
That's what it seems like.
Cause de facto, he just left America. He's like, I'm just here now.
Well, went there, do whatever, and then came back.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you know that it's probably some war thing. Man, you're in the bushes. You know what I mean? It was another thing, and it did a thing. You know what I mean? Right? The usual vibes. Go right back to the Bill Cosby letter.
Yeah.
Right.
Right back to the Bill Cosby letter.
Now, this was interesting now that there's a there's a Japanese or Korean to English dictionary, right? And what they do in the dictionary is that they use pictures to show
what
to show what they're talking about or whatever, right? So this one's Negro, right? I think it's Korean, right? Negro. Right, so this is what they have in the dictionary for Negro.
A bone in the nose, really, eh? This is their.
Right, that's the Negro.
He is a Negro.
He is a Negro, right? So Negroes are the ones with the bone in the nose, right? So obviously not the ones from here, right? Because there's no bone in the nose over here, right? Okay, so Negro, right? Native.
Okay.
Right?
Interesting.
He returned to his native country. Natives. She is a native of this town. He is a South African native, right? And they show native, right? Okay. Now you notice the background has a coconut tree. Right? Okay,
He's
and
South American.
he's, you know, fairly, you know, he's not dark, but he's not European,
Yeah, he's not
right? He's not a red Indian or whatever,
No.
right? Native, right? And then, whom? By whom was the island discovered? Whom did you visit yesterday? He is the boy whom I have come to know at the club. And then they show this picture. For whom? Again, the coconut tree in the back again, right? Remember, native. And they have the coconut tree, and then they have the boat with the two people with, you know, if you look at
like
them,
the Columbus boat.
it looks like they're
two people
making
waiting.
a you know, distinction to something, right? Okay. Now this is live from the book, right?
These drawings.
Yeah, like this is live
out.
from the book, right? Okay. Cotton, wool, silk. The Negroes are picking cotton now, right?
But ask for a definition on cotton.
Right.
Why is that the Negroes are? Why would you put the Negroes are picking cotton now?
Yeah, but why would the Negro be European? Right? Why would the Negro be European? Right? Are they ignorant of certain stuff, or are they trying to tell people something?
Something.
Right? Are they trying to teach? Because remember, a picture tells 1,000 words, 10,000 words. Some people say, right? So the picture is gonna let them know more about what they're trying to talk about. You know, in learning this bastardized language. Right? The picture is going to tell them more, so they get a better understanding of what they're really saying when they say certain things, right? That's wool, right? Right.
Wool, cotton.
Slave, or that's cotton.
Yeah.
Slave. Lincoln set the slaves free. Again, the slaves were picking cotton. Uncle Tom's Cabin is a story about American slaves, right? And then you have the picture again, and it's Europeans as the slaves, right? Now, if we look at this, right, you clearly see that this is dark-skinned persons, right? Clearly, right? Okay, and they're talking about natives or whatever in this one, you know. In the other one, they're talking about slaves and Negro, and they were showing dark-skinned people, right? And now there's this one right here, right? There's this one right here, and again they're showing the European.
He's the master and the slave.
He's the master and the slave.
Slaves were picking cotton.
Right. So there's a story that they're telling. They're making a point using the pictures. Not the words to really make the point, right? Because they know they have at least some level of the story, right? Of who the real slave is, and who the real native is, and who the cotton pickers were, and all that stuff. They have some type of right? They have some type of reference point in their mind that they're going to get these pictures. Now they're going to draw some pictures of Europeans picking cotton.
I know, you think they're just rudimentary drawings or just some basic illustrations that like a grade 8 kid drew.
Right.
But they're not just
But
for
they're
nothing.
not, right? Right? And then speaking about, you know, pictures telling 1,000 words, right? Right? We put this out there before, but this is a religious book for children.
Okay.
Right? The man who carried the cross for Jesus.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
And then this is the cover.
A man in a fez.
Right? Okay, right? But not only is the man in the fez on the cover, right? The man in the fez on this page right here, right? First page, right? Telling the whole story about Simon, right?
Siren.
Right? Simon with his fez on. Okay, right? And Simon with his fez on.
The Jews aren't as dark as we are. That's true.
Right?
I was reading some of the little
Yeah,
blurbs at
right.
the bottom. Read
know?
it as fast as
Um,
possible.
My house is called the house of prayer for all my people everywhere. So black or white or red or brown or whatever are God's children. There's no red people in this picture when they're talking about the native people.
Mm.
They're dark skinned.
Mm.
The African, he's dark skinned.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Chin, he's dark skinned.
Uh-huh.
And the only non-dark skinned person is the European.
Jesus.
Right? Yeah.
Well, for the sake of the book.
For the sake of the book, right? And then there he is again with his fez. Right? This is a children's book, remember. Right? And then here he is on the boat, right? Before he leaves Old Cyrene on Africa's north shore, which means that he was African,
mm-hmm.
right? From the north, which
mm-hmm.
means he was a Moor, because everybody knows Moors
mm-hmm.
come from North Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And there he is on the boat with the Arab, so-called
mm-hmm.
Arab, because
mm-hmm.
of his headdress. You could tell that that's Arab
or
whatever, the beard and whatever. And then he has his fez on, right? Then he gets there, and then, he has his fez on, and he has his crook, like they have in ancient Kemet,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Tying it all together, right? He has the crook and he has the fez,
mm-hmm.
and then everybody knows the crook comes from Kemet.
Yeah.
Right? Then, he's walking through the city or whatever, and he has his fez on and all that, right? And then, so that's the point. And then when you get to the back now, Simon became a Christian. And then there he is, denationalized without his fez on. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Following after the idol gods of Europe, of whom he knew nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they ended, with him without his fez.
Just Simon became a Christian.
Simon became a Christian.
Preaches Jesus' word. He told the story to the cross, how he served his Lord, blah, blah, blah.
Right? But just to show you that everybody knows
what's up.
Right? Everybody knows what's up. And we're playing around over here like we don't know. Right? This is the prince's crown from Korea. Right? Brother sent me this.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you see the tassel, you already know that
what you're dealing with.
You already know what you're dealing with. Whether it's feathers, tassel, string, tassel, whatever. Anything coming out of the middle of a headwear with string dangling down,
nah, you know what's up.
You know what's up. Right? And here's a couple more of them. Right? Once you see string coming from the middle hanging down, you know what's up. It doesn't matter what the shape is, what it looks like, whatever. Like, once you see the string coming down, you know what's up. Right? Especially if it has the ball on it. If you look at this one close, you can see the ball. Right? Okay.
This is Peru?
You can see the ball. Korea.
This is Korea.
Yeah.
This picture is Korea.
Yeah. Right? You know what I mean? It's like we're saying. So that's the ball on there. Right? And so that's the ball. You already know that you're dealing with Moors. Right? Yeah, you can clearly see that there's a ball and then it's wrapped. Just like how the Moors tassel is wrapped up. Right? Everybody knows what's up. Right? The next letter. This was the letter. People might have heard it, read it, whatever. From Lauryn Hill. After
she went in the box just a couple days ago.
Yeah. Right? So she came out and then she, vented to the world. You know what I mean? About, the injustices or whatever, right? That she went through. You know what I mean? Because of, she's black and all this, right? Because she's black lady, right? The concept of reverse racism is flawed, if not absolutely ridiculous. Most, if not all, of the negative responses from people of color toward white people are reactions to the hatred, violence, cruelty, and brutality that they were shown by white people for centuries, right?
Mm.
Much of the foundation of the modern world was built on the forced free labor of black peoples. The African slave trade, the institution of slavery, colonialism, its derivative systems, and the multitude holocausts throughout history, where whites use race as the defining reason to justify their oppression, conquest, and brutal treatment of non-white peoples, are how race became such a factor to begin with. The initial claim by oppressors, following a moral imperative, so they say, that people outside of Occidental and European birth were in savage and cursed conditions, and that God justifies the captivity of these people and rape and pillage of their lands. Ironically, these oppressors would try to discard this same God who supposedly justified this brutality in the name of Darwin, whose famous line, "survival of the fittest," was used to justify criminal behavior once the Bible could no longer be used as a hiding place for economic domination and evil intention. Spirituality and morality were replaced by capitalism, and with it, a conscious shift of focus toward the exploitation of the vulnerable. Right? Now, before we even go any further or whatever, right, we have to put it to the point that she set herself up from the start, calling herself Fuji.
Yeah.
If you're a refugee,
how do you want people to have no rights, no homes?
If you're a refugee, you put yourself in that vulnerable position to be exploited, right? Now, if she's talking about Occidental and all that stuff, right, that means she had to have some type of
not accidental, outside of Occidental,
right?
European birth.
She had to have some type of world history, knowledge, education, or whatever.
If she only learned one lesson,
if you're not saying Occidental if you don't have a certain degree of knowledge in your mind, right? Now, Noble Drew Ali put out the statement in the Divine Warning by the Prophet for the Nations, right? The citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all of one family bearing one free national name. Right? All right. Hill, that ain't her name.
Yeah.
Right? That's a European name. That means they have jurisdiction over you. They can do whatever they want to you. Again, us putting ourselves in that vulnerable position because we think that to call ourselves, we call ourselves whatever we want. Doesn't matter what we call ourselves.
It does matter.
Right? But it has everything to do. Name is what it's about. If you don't have the right name and you're going around talking about your whatever, then when they check that name, if that name doesn't match up, then you're done, pretty much, right? Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names, Negro, black, colored, nigger, whatever.
Cracker,
whatever, right?
It doesn't matter.
Are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and principles that delude to slavery. It's a sin to do that. Right? Now what's the sin? The sin is that they did not, and when I say they, I'm going to show you what I mean when I say they, right? They did not, or they violated the national constitutional laws of a free national government. Who's they? Right? Start at the top of the list. Who's they? Wesley Snipes, Method Man.
Okay. What did Meth do?
Faced federal charges in October for 32 grand in personal income and state tax. He pled guilty, ended up paying over $106,000 in back taxes.
All these are for tax. All these people are taxes.
Yeah, all these people are
gosh.
who IRS hit up.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Wesley Snipes, Method Man,
Mhm.
Swiss Beats,
Yeah, I know Swizzy
owes
got
over
hit.
2.2 million.
Yeah, he owes money. I don't know how he.
Fat Joe,
Yeah, Fat Joe owes money.
71 grand. Macy Gray,
Shit.
50 grand.
You're making money.
Mackay Pfeiffer, 108 grand. Faith Evans, 29 grand. Khalees, 330 grand.
Guess she just took that out of Nas's pocket.
Nas, 339 grand.
They owe like the same amount.
Right? R. Kelly, 4.8 million.
What? Kelly owes the middle
Chris
rate?
Tucker, 11.5 million.
Chris Tucker not paid. That guy hasn't paid tax since Friday, yo.
Tony Braxton, 396,000.
Okay.
Right? Little John, 1.9 million.
Little John owes on tax too?
Kelly Rowland, 98 grand.
Mm.
Lil Wayne, 1.3 million. Sinbad, 8.5 million.
That's a,
Ruben Studdard, 200 grand.
Ruben started
OJ, 1.5 million. Mike Tyson, 18 million. Lionel Richie, 1.1 million. Montel Jordan, 600 grand. Sean Kingston, 131 grand. Patti LaBelle, 300 grand. Forrest Whitaker, 1.29 million. David Allen Greer, 49 grand. Brian McKnight, 257.
McKnight,
Right? And Dame Dash.
He's
He's on the list too.
What's his
Right?
name?
You get his numbers. 2.8 million.
Yeah. Shit.
Right?
So.
Oh, and he also owes millions of back taxes and lost his multiple properties to foreclosure.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? But then again, you know, when we look at the other side of the coin, you know, Jay-Z, he doesn't owe nobody anything. He's president of Def Jam. He has a basketball team.
Yeah,
whatever, you know. He just put out a new album where he got $5 million from Samsung to release it on phones.
On Samsung first.
Right?
Trust me.
You know,
now he's repping players. Now he's repping. He dropped the ownership on the Nets to rep players. So now he has
now he's
Rockefeller
player athletes or whatever.
So now he has like at least like a few football players, probably a couple basketball players.
Right. And you know everybody's gonna go on the Rock. You know everybody wants to be on. Right? Everybody wants to be on the Rock. Right? It is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws. National constitutional laws. So we go to the Constitution and we go to Section 8 of the Constitution. Right? Article 1, Section 8.
Mm-hmm.
The Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes. So if the Congress shall has the power to lay and collect taxes, how come these people are letting the IRS,
which is a private
company, come and send them a letter telling them that they owe them something, and that they're going to take their house?
If you don't pay us, we're going to send you to another private company that's going to put you in a box.
That's going to put you in a box. Right? When all they could, if they'd listened to Noble Drew Ali and enforce the Constitution, they would have read this and known that, oh, hold on a second, you guys are violating Section 8 of the Constitution that you took an oath to. Right?
To lay and collect taxes, period.
To lay and collect taxes. Duties, imposts, excises, to pay debts and provide for the common defense, general welfare of the United States, but all duties, imposts, excises shall be uniform throughout the United States. To borrow money on the credit of the United States. So only Congress could borrow money on the credit of the United States. Right? To regulate commerce with foreign nations. To establish uniform rules of naturalization. Congress isn't the one naturalizing all these people when they come from other countries here.
No.
They don't have to go. They're not going to Congress to get that process done. They're going to private jurisdictions that have not. But again, come back to the same thing, that if this is not a republic and it's a democracy, then
you're in a.
This is what's gonna go on. The violations are gonna go on. That's just how it's gonna go. Right? To coin money, regulate the value thereof, and of foreign coin, and to fix standard weights and measures, to provide for the punishment of counterfeiting the securities and current coin of the United States. Right? Now, where is it at? Now, when Noble Drew Ali went to the Pan American Conference, right?
Noble Drew went to this conference.
When he went to the Pan American Conference in 28, right? His position bankrupted the corporation, the U.S. corporation.
His position
bankrupted
just
them.
by going there that one
Just
day.
by him going there, right? Because he was standing up for the Moors, saying that this is our land. You know what I mean? You know, I'm back. I'm the head of the jurisdiction now. So everybody else that's here, you either show allegiance to me or go back wherever you came from. Right? And then a year later, you got assassinated.
Because we can't have this guy come
Right.
in here and messing up
and
our
messing up
program.
our booty.
We have a thing going on.
We have something going on here. You know what I mean?
We know it's underhanded. We do our thing.
And we
can't
do our
have
thing.
people,
Right?
You know, disbelieve in our lies.
Right? The lies have to continue. The lies cannot stop. We're going to do everything that we can in our power to make sure that the avalanche of lies is forever on the people. That's why it's important for Moors that have information to step up and put up or shut up. Take off your turban and fez and go back to the corporate state if you're just going to be playing around with this. If you just want to go around get charters just to say, yeah, I have a charter and I have a warrant of authority to be Moors and I have a nationality card, but you're not wielding it, if you're not doing anything with what you have, right, you're causing a disservice, not necessarily to the movement, but you're causing a disservice to yourself.
To yourself, number one,
right? Because as Moors, we have a certain obligation to make sure that the people know what's going on, right? But because Moors didn't do what they're supposed to do, right, which was enforce the Constitution, right, of the United States of America Republic, right, Europeans came out and they said that they're going to do it, right? So we already put this on the record, but we're going to put it on the record again because this is your evidence to use when these people come tell you about 1.8 million and whatever back taxes that you owe to some IRS foreign corporation, right? This is the evidence, right? Bankruptcy of the United States. James Traficant, U.S. bankruptcy speech. United States Congressional Record, May 17th, 1993, Volume 33, page H1303. So, no different than when we pull up case law, and then it says, you know, Arnold versus United States, 5 point blah whatever. Okay, that's what this is right here. Congressional record, March 17th, 1993. So this is something that was spoken into the records, which means that it's precedent, and it can be pulled up anytime and quoted, just like you're going to do with case law.
With any other law,
Just like you're going to say,
section, article,
just like you're going to say, for example, the right to travel, the right to mode of conveyance, the right to locomotion are all absolute rights, and the police can't make void the exercise of rights. State versus Armstead, 60 S 77879, blah blah. Just like you're going to do that, you're going to do that with this now, right? When they come at you, or when they come at you, right? Because this is evidence.
They'll come.
This is not just a man making a speech or whatever because he just wants to make a speech, and you know, this is on the congressional record. And what we're reading, the Congress shall have the power to blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the Congress is where the power lies, right? All right, so if the Congress right now is, let's call it void, because even that got sold out to IMF, you know what I mean? World Court, all that, right? They own that, right?
The World Banks.
The World Banks and all that, right? If Congress is sold out, that doesn't take away from what is established. No different than if Grand Sheik says $5 million for nationality in Armor Science Temple, right? And you pay, and then you find out that that was fraud, right? That doesn't take away from the credibility of the temple. That's on that individual that did that. That has nothing to do with the movement. Don't look at the movement. Oh yeah, forget the Moorish Science Temple because all those Grand Sheiks are frauds and they charge people for nationality. No, hit up the Grand Sheiks that do that. Don't taint the temple, because the temple, that's just a building. Temple can't do nothing to anybody. Right? Congress can't do anything. Congress is a position. Congress is a jurisdiction. Jurisdiction can't do anything, but people could be in that jurisdiction and abuse their power, right? Because they know that what the power of Congress is, right? So this is James Traficant's bankruptcy speech, right? And again, it's online. People probably read it, but we're gonna go over it.
Traficants.
Right? Yeah, we're gonna go over it again, just to show that Negro, black, color people, right? Like we were saying, violate the national constitutional laws of free national government and cling to the names and principles that delude to slavery, which is why they get abused and mistreated and they have all these inferior names that nobody respects. Right? Like their name is
Little John.
Martin. Right? And then there's a guy named Zimmerman, and he can't go to jail yet. Or he can't even get the chair or nothing yet. But let a Martin and a Martin out here in the street shoot each other and they find one. He's going to jail right away.
Right away.
No questions asked, no trial, no nothing. Yo, you did it, you're jail. Bam.
The joke is I've been dropping in and watching those the trial. And the joke is these people are arguing self-defense this, self-defense that. The only argument is, are we giving him life or are we going to
kill him?
That's the only,
simple.
That's the only argument,
right?
That's the only. To me, we know he did it. That's the only.
First paragraph, right? Divine warning by the prophet for the nations. First paragraph. Those who fail to recognize the free national name. If you fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government, they are classed as undesirables, right? Apparently, Trayvon was gonna be a pilot or something like that.
Oh, really? He wasn't
no dumb nigger.
No, he wasn't. No, his brother was already in university.
He wasn't no dumb nigger.
He was gonna go to school.
Well,
I didn't know he was gonna be.
So how are they able to bypass all that and talk about everything negative about him? Because he doesn't have a free national name that's recognized. So he's classed
as an
undesirable.
And
because you're undesirable, that makes you subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments.
Well, even in your death, like the memory of you could still get
tainted,
dirt on it,
right? Just because, right? You had an inferior name. That's the power of what Noble Drew Ali brought. That people don't want to acknowledge or recognize. They just think, oh yeah, Moors just hate their people because we call ourselves black and they don't want to be called black and they hate their people. But no, we understand what black is.
Math to it, yeah.
You know what I mean? Black is not a position that you want to have.
Civil mortus.
Civil mortus. Dead in the eyes of the law.
You don't want to be a civil mortus.
You don't want to be a mortus.
You could be breathing and still be a mortus.
Imagine that. How are you breathing and you're it?
Mm.
You're breathing and you're it. Identified as a it by everybody.
Once you're a civil.
Right? So if all these jokers right here and one of the brethren we were building one time about you know, who's rich and who has money, and you know what I mean, all these people, you know, entertainment people, right? And then he brought up a point about how much of those people would go broke, right, if they were to go buy a nuclear bomb. How much of those people would go broke? Not just one. Just go buy one nuclear bomb. How much of those people would go broke if they were to go buy an army? Just buy an army. Just go to some country out there and just buy an army. Buy their tanks, their planes, whatever.
The whole setup.
Right? Just buy the whole setup. How much are you gonna have after that? Right?
I'm assuming nothing. I
To
assume armies cost money.
To show that they really have nothing to begin with. All these millions that they say they have in the bank, and they have accountant reading books and whatever, and they have zero. Tomorrow they can say, you know what, $5 worth 1 cent, $100 worth cent, $100 worth cent,
worth a cent, this and that,
and bring everything down to nothing overnight.
Then what you can do?
And then everybody has all these bills in their bank account, whatever, that they can't do nothing with. That's what Noble Drawley was talking about. You're gonna see $20 in the street, pass it, pass it straight. That's not worth anything. The only money is gold and silver.
Gold and silver,
right?
That's it.
And if they didn't give you gold or silver for payment or whatever like that, and they're coming and telling you that you owe them something, right? Now they're saying that they're saying that they owe 1 point whatever million, right? Let's see somebody who has high amount. Okay,
Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker, 1.29 million, right?
And he's a Scientologist. I don't even think he's gonna pay them.
Right. Right. He already has his boys.
My brother's in his
that's
own
gonna
world.
take their stuff for them.
He's
right.
on a spaceship. He's out.
Right. They're gonna say he owes 1 point whatever million. Right. The people who he's paying that to is in $600 billion debt.
How can someone in debt come?
How can somebody in, like, logically?
Just because you went and spent your money, don't come over here and tell me.
Logically, right? But one thing that Noble Drawley said, right? Many things he said, but another thing that he said is, if I get you more to think, you'll save yourself. That's common knowledge, like automatically, because that's all they talk about on news. How much debt they got? Oh yeah, 600 billion, 700 billion. Canada and U.S. alone, debt together is like some trillion dollars or something like that in debt.
Because America's well in the trillions,
right?
You know what I mean? America's well into the trillions. Their debt.
So James Traficant came out addressing the House, right? Mr. Speaker, we are here now in Chapter 11. Members of Congress are official trustees presiding over the greatest reorganization of any bankrupt entity in world history, the U.S. government.
Any bankrupt entity.
Any bankrupt entity in world history, not in North American history.
World history.
World history. This is the biggest
bankruptcy.
The biggest Chapter 11 of a corporation.
And that pretty much is saying that's pretty much saying that you are the poorest country ever.
Right.
If you are the poorest country ever. You have you have nothing.
But then, right, he makes the reference to it being U.S. And U.S. isn't the country. U.S. is a private corporation, right, that has nothing to do with the land called the Americas. Right? We are setting forth, hopefully, a blueprint for our future. There are some who say it's a coroner's report that will lead to our demise. It is an established fact that the United States federal government has been dissolved by the Emergency Banking Act March 9th, 1933. Right? I
That's
should
when
just get that green book right there.
That's when
Right behind
they
you.
started selling off the people for money, right?
Exactly. Right.
Ron Paul was talking about.
Yeah.
Talking about in the 30s.
Just look up dissolved in there. Right? It is an established fact. Right? An established fact that the United States federal government has been dissolved. Right? So the federal government, the feds, the jurisdiction that claims to have power is dissolved. Right? Declared by President Roosevelt being bankrupt and insolvent. HJR 192. Right? This is argument that they can use in their IRS coming to try to take your pecuniary wages that we call income under a fraud, which makes it taxable. Right? Because income is profits made off of investments. That's taxable. The profits made off of investment is taxable.
Okay. Yeah.
But your wage that you get
is not supposed to be for working your 8 hours, your 40 hours a week
isn't taxable.
That's not,
unless they call it income.
But it's not it's not the atypical investment.
It's not an investment.
No.
Or it's not a profit made off of investment. Right? That's 9 is 9 there?
Disorderly house.
I think it's 2 S's. Yeah, 2 S's.
Okay. Dissolution. Dissenter.
All United States offices, officials, and departments are now operating within a de facto status in name only. Right? Yeah, you could just hit that up. Right? So dissolved.
Okay, what are we? Dissolve. To terminate, abrogate, cancel, annul, disintegrate. To release or unloose the binding force of anything. To release or unloose the binding force of anything. As to dissolve a corporation, to dissolve an injunction.
Right? So that dissolution, right, caused all governmental offices, officers, and departments to exist in name only. Right? So they don't even have anything to do with government, being the fact that they're dissolved. Right? Just like how, you put salt in water and it dissolves, right? And you just have salty water, but there's nothing in there. All right, dissolved. Right? The government's dissolved over here too, not just over there.
Not just America, Canada as well.
Because Canada is part of U.S.
The corporation.
The corporation. Right? Not the land, because the land is North America. Right? And North America has nothing to do with U.S.
Yeah, they're
right.
Corporate horseshit.
Right? With the constitutional Republican form of government now dissolved, right? With the constitutional Republican form of government now dissolved, the receivers of the bankruptcy have adopted a new form of government for the United States. This new form of government is known as a democracy. Right? So they can't dissolve the Republican form of government because that belongs to the people.
You can't dissolve it.
You can't dissolve that. Right?
But it makes sense that way.
But it makes sense saying it that way, that, they dissolved that, and then we brought in a new form of government called democracy.
Yeah.
But democracy isn't a form of government.
No.
has nothing to do with government. That's also a private jurisdiction, right?
Definition of democracy.
That has nothing to do with the people being in control, right?
Like even a dictatorship is for the people. Is, you know what I mean?
Right.
It operates based on the people.
On some principles.
Yeah, you know, you may have
right.
one guy leading it, so you
Right.
call it a dictatorship, but he's still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's still supposed to be for the people.
Right. Being an established socialist communist order under a new governor for America. This act was instituted and established by transferring and or placing the office of the secretary to that of the governor of the International Monetary Fund. So the office of the Secretary of the Treasury was transferred to the governor of the International Monetary Fund. Right? But remember, they could only do that under a democracy. They're not doing this under the republic.
No, you can't do.
This is the thing that you're talking about with, you know, after Noble Drew Ali bankrupting them and them getting him out the way, assassinating him. Now they had to, okay, well,
they had to,
like, what are we gonna do now
they had
in
to
order to
bandulu bandage, like cover up paper
you know
mache.
I mean? Yeah,
Cover it up.
the paper mache, right? Okay, gold and silver was such a powerful money during the founding of the United States of America that the founding fathers declared that only gold and silver coins can be money in America. Right? Making the statement, right? Now remember, this is 1993, right? But what did Noble Drew Ali say back in early 1900s? You who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know law in City Hall and among the officials in your government and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply. For they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into light. Money doesn't make the man. It is free national standards that make a man and a nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold and silver and commerce belong to the citizens alone. Right?
Belong to the citizens
alone. So the government's not even supposed to touch
it really.
Touch it really.
To have a control.
Right? A control over it. Because really it's the people who are the government. And their job is to tell these, that's why
government, we want this.
Exactly.
Get in there and do that.
That's why in the beginning we said make sure you go on youtube.com/made tangible.
Okay.
And listen to Brother Fonteus demand from his public servants, right? Which we're supposed to be doing. We're demanding them, telling them what they're supposed to do. Right? Noble Drew Ali said that from, and how we get them to stick to it is by enforcing that they uphold their oath to the Constitution. But remember, we can't say or talk about rights or Constitution or whatever if we don't, go back to the first paragraph, have a free national name.
If you are
right, like we can't go to Japan and start up a ministry of transportation in Japan and have everybody come to us to get their licenses and get their plates and register their vehicles or whatever.
Not happening.
Calling ourselves, you know, Johnson and whatever.
Japanese Ministry of Transportation.
Yeah, right? Right. The Japanese Administration of Transportation in English in Japan.
In Japan.
Right?
Not working.
It's not working. Right? Because that's out of our jurisdiction. We don't have authority to go over there and do that. How did they have the authority to come over here and do that? By, you know, avalanche of lies, by saying that, well, this place is called America and an Italian named Amerigo Vespucci is who
is named after him.
So we have jurisdiction here.
Not named after the first,
right?
They're messed up. Avalanche of lies, right? You know what I mean?
That's how they got it. Right? The same thing that they did with India. Oh, yeah. Well, you know.
It's India.
Oh, India. Okay, what's India? India is really British India company.
Yeah.
Right? That's what India is. They just took off British and company and they called it India. And everybody bought it.
Yeah.
Unless you go talk to those people and you say, oh, well, come you guys. Oh, no, we don't recognize British or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm from Hindustan. They'll tell you.
Hindustan.
Yeah. You know what I mean? They'll tell you. This is not Sri Lanka. This is Ceylon.
Yeah.
They'll say that out their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And I'm gonna ask a friend of mine. His family's Muslim, but they're from India.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? Hindustan, whatever. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, bro, my parents are from there, bro. I go Pakistan. He goes, there's not even a difference. Don't even get into the
right.
He's like,
right, and ask him about this. If there's no such thing as Pakistan, and there's no such thing as Sri Lanka, and there's no such thing as India, right? What are those people called? If those aren't their name? Because Hindustan is the name of a land, Ceylon is the name of a land, right? And you know, wherever Pakistan is, that's the name of a land, right? And people aren't named after land. That's why we can't say that we're African, right?
Kemet.
That's the land's name.
Kemet.
Right? Just like when people say, you know, Kemet means the black land, so the black people are from Kemet. No, the land is black.
The land.
What's the people? The people are. You're not the soil. You know what I mean? That's like calling your feet Nikes because you have Nikes on your feet. Well, my feet are Nikes. People look at you like you're a crazy person. Right?
That's true.
Because it doesn't work like that. But you know, again, first paragraph, if you don't have a free national name, you're classed as undesirables, and then you're subject to all the inferior names and all the mistreatments that people want to bestow upon you. And they will bestow those mistreatments and abuses.
If you don't come correct.
If you don't come correct.
What's going on.
From the jump, you have to come correct. Right? That's why, you know, like the real position is not even getting in court in the first place, because more than likely, if they're taking you in one of those places, it's not a court and they're going to railroad you anyways. So do what you're supposed to do so your ass doesn't end up in there. But if you do end up in there, make sure you challenge that guy sitting there.
Yeah, trust me.
To prove who he is.
Yeah.
Nothing's not wrong with that. You know what I mean? That's not you know, that's not like bad.
No.
For you to question their authority.
No.
Like, where do you get your authority from?
No.
You know, it's no different than you know, if somebody tells you, yeah, hi, how you doing, Mr. Kudrow? Yeah, your phone bill is $5,000. You know, we take credit card or we take a check or a money order. You know, and you can just pay that right now. That'll be great. And then I'm just saying, oh yeah, you know, hold on, let me get my stuff.
Let me get my credit
card and just give you. No, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You need to break this down for me. You know what I mean? I need to know.
So if you can ask for explanation anywhere else, you should be able to ask for explanation in a quote unquote court of law.
Exactly.
You're representing yourself,
no doubt,
in a legal matter, and you can't ask a couple questions.
Well, like, why can't you ask a couple questions? You know what I'm saying?
You might want to put me in jail.
Depending on how this goes, you might be in a box. Lock me away forever.
I can't ask a question.
Right? It is essential that we comprehend the distinction between real money and paper money. Right? This is European talking.
Yeah.
Right? One cannot get rich by accumulating money substitutes. One can only get deeper in debt.
Money substitutes.
So when they say,
I have $1 million, I'm $1 million rich.
Yeah.
You're $1 million in
debt. Because you don't have anything.
You substitute that for that.
You don't have anything.
You probably
you have minus.
You might as well try to get possessions would be more useful.
Exactly.
Like a physical
you might as well
thing.
take that 1,000 or million or whatever.
Like 1,000
and go
pounds of
buy
granite
something.
is more like granite, stone,
exactly.
whatever, grass,
exactly,
field.
whatever, something
I
that's tangible.
1,000 cows.
Yeah,
has more useful.
Has more use than you having this paper that you're sitting on, right? We the people no longer have any money. Most Americans have not been paid any money for a very long time. Perhaps not in their entire life. Right? So all these guys out there, this is why we're telling people that, you know, tell these young people, leave those sports crap alone and get a trade. Learn how to build something. Learn how to do something with your hands.
This, apply to this, and
you know what I mean? Because you're only getting yourself more in debt. You know, and then your children are going to inherit that debt when you pass on.
Like, hey, you'll be a great basketball player, but at the end of the day, besides being a great basketball player,
right?
I can run really fast. Well, that's
there is a fundamental difference between paying and discharging a debt. To pay a debt, you must pay with value or substance, i.e. gold, silver, barter, or a commodity. With Federal Reserve notes or paper money, you can only discharge a debt. You cannot pay a debt with a debt.
Debt notes.
This is the argument right here for these guys that owe taxes.
Yeah, but they're not. They're sleeping or something.
Right. This is the argument.
No one went and checked this.
You know, writing your little letter to them, right? Because they're gonna send you a letter, and then your job is to send them back a letter. Right. Same thing like with the man who's sitting at the front of the court, questioning. Question 1: can I pay a debt with a debt? And I'm expecting some answers from you when I send this letter to you. You know what I mean? In 10 days, 15 days, or whatever, because I need to know. Before I pay you, I just need to make sure that you guys are following the Constitution, because Noble Drew Ali said that, you know, I have to enforce the Constitution or whatever. So I'm just making sure that you guys are really doing what you're supposed to do, because, you know, Congress shall have the power to collect taxes. And then when I call Congress said that, you know, they have nothing to do with the IRS. Oh yeah, here's the letter that they sent me. So right? Because they will send you a letter. If you ask them, Congress will send you a letter saying, no, we don't represent the IRS. That's fact. Right? So who are you? Right? Where do you get the authority to lay and collect taxes? Secondly, can I pay a debt with a debt? Right? Thirdly, aren't debts supposed to be discharged? And then everything that you do, you ask a question for them because you want an answer. And when they don't answer, then you can write another letter answering those questions that you asked them.
That they didn't answer.
They
didn't want to answer.
Right? That they didn't want to answer. Right? Because they think that, you know, no way he's asking these questions. You know? But again, coming back to the same thing, don't think that you're going to go write no letter to these guys under the name of Hill and you know what I mean,
some American
Whitaker,
American English
and
little
you know,
John,
Wayne and John and
Ruben Studdard,
and Kelly and all those names, right?
Nas.
They're gonna punk you.
Even Nas isn't good enough.
No, well, he's Jones.
He is Jones.
He might be Nas in the first name, but he's Jones. You know what I mean? And Jones is some Europeans, right? You know, Method Man, that's a European.
Mackay Pfeiffer East.
Right. You know?
What's these snipes ain't paying nothing.
Right.
They'll go to jail.
Yeah, right, exactly. Right? Why? Because he knows that it's a fraud.
Montel Jordan,
right?
Should be like, my name's Jordan Mon L.
Yeah.
To go some tax,
right? You cannot service a debt with a currency that has no backing in value or substance. The Federal Reserve System is based on canon law and the principles of sovereignty protected in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. In fact, the international bankers used a canon law trust as their model. So make sure you look up canon law trust as their model, adding stock and naming it a joint stock trust. The U.S. Congress had passed a law making it illegal for any legal person to duplicate a joint stock trust. The Federal Reserve System is a sovereign power structure separate and distinct from the federal United States government. The Federal Reserve is a maritime lender and or maritime insurance underwriter to the federal United States, operating exclusively under Admiralty and maritime law. Don't forget, the federal United States has been dissolved.
Mm-hmm.
So this Federal Reserve System, or the Canadian Mint, or whoever, right?
Yeah.
Right? The people who are making the money, first of all, they're not Congress, because, you know, Federal Reserve says that they make money, right? Canadian Mint says they make money. Okay, well, according to Section 8,
only Congress has
the power to borrow money, regulate money, emit bills of credit, make rules for government, you know, etc. Right? So how come they're taking the power to do that? Because it's a democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And democracy has nothing to do with the government, and all the people have to do is say, oh, you guys say you're a democracy, but Constitution says republic. Oh, forget you guys. Let's take our nation back and start governing ourselves like we're supposed to govern ourselves and be the government, which is what Noble Drew Ali did when he set up the Moorish Divine and National Movement and put himself at the head of it as the Sultan or president or prime minister or whatever,
the leader,
the man,
czar,
the pope, whatever, czar, whatever, right? He's the head of the nation, and everybody is subordinate to it, and they have an obligation to step up and take the place of government in our own little jurisdiction where we are.
Wherever you are.
Where you are. Because it's been dissolved. There's no government right now. There hasn't been a government since 1933. But everybody thinks that because these guys have the suit with the podium, and then they're starting the podium and they're making a State of the Nation address, and everybody's at a TV, oh yeah, you know, well, I think, you know, I put my vote down or whatever, these guys must be the leaders. And everybody around the world is looking at people like, you guys, the stuff dissolved since 19...
That's what I'm saying. Other countries or nations, not just countries, nations, they know that like there are other nations, and they know that our North American act is just an act. They're sitting there like, yo, these people are just, they're not even...
They know that it's a fraud. Right? They know it's a fraud. And then speaking about, also too, touch on something quick fast, because I know there's a lot of lovers out there of this guy. Put something on the record quick fast. Canadian teen produces Jay-Z track.
Canadian teen.
Yeah.
Canadian teenager?
Canadian teenager.
Oh, really? Huh? Okay.
Hip-hop superstar Jay-Z gave a Brampton, Ontario schoolgirl her big break in the music industry by picking her to help produce a track on his new album. Ebony Oshun Rinde, her name's Oshun, which is a Yoruba Vodun Orisha, right? 16 was asked to contribute to Magna Carta Holy Grail after a chance of meeting the rapper's friend Travis Scott. Now, this is how messed up they are, right? This is how messed up they are. Canadian teen produces Jay-Z track, and then in the paper they show a picture of Jay-Z. Why don't you show the girl?
I know what Jay-Z looks like. This guy's on.
Why you give the girl her props that she's due?
Why if you're gonna put her in the paper?
Right? If you're gonna put it in the paper, you're gonna put her name.
I seen the little things on YouTube, like little squares, and I never clicked to watch what they were talking about. You know what I mean? I never clicked. So she was in an interview. I think maybe Hot 97 or something like that, an American radio station was interviewing her. Like how you get this, but I didn't click to actually watch the whole thing because I seen the young girl producer Jay-Z. I'm like, what is this? What is this?
Right? But you know, and this goes back again to the fraud of hip hop, right? The avalanche of lies, because everybody thinks that the guy with the microphone is the guy, when the producer is the one who makes the artist. Go check the records.
Well, Britney Spears is not. She's just she's just a puppet,
She's
right?
Just the puppet.
She doesn't even really sing the song. She just does the song, the dance. She jumps when they say the choreographer says jump.
Right. Just a puppet. Right. And we were talking about the other day that we hope that she leased the beat to him. And we hope she didn't sell the beat.
Sell the beat to him. Mm-hmm.
We hope he leased the beat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please tell me that she leased the
beat. Someone get in contact with her.
Right?
Know if you leased that beat.
Because if you didn't lease that beat, you need to go back, cancel that contract or whatever, and then lease the beat.
Make a new contract. And
give him back his check, and then lease the beat.
Wow.
Right? But producers make artists.
Yeah, it's true.
Artists don't make
Timberland's
themselves.
The one in the back. Dre's the man in the back. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's certain guys that,
without a beat, an artist is nobody.
Unless you're like
without a beat, artist is nobody.
I mean, unless you're Prince, you can make music, write the music, sing it. You know what I mean? Unless you're the all around, you have that type of energy and you can do all that. Okay, but there's some people who can't do it.
And just so everybody's clear of what position this guy is taking by calling his album Magna Carta. Right.
I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah.
Too. I wanted to talk about that. And
Magna Carta.
He has a
blocked up in four. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then MC. Right.
Master
MC
ceremonies.
Right. Right. But then it's in a there's a cross on it.
There's a cross on it.
Cross has to do with Christianity, which is Roman Catholicism, which is the popes. Right. That has nothing to do with. You know what I mean? Anything to do with us. Right. Magna Carta. A charter of liberty and political rights obtained from King John of England.
Yeah, because after I saw it, I went and checked out Magna Carta.
Yeah,
and it was King John
by his rebellious barons.
Yeah, continue.
Right, Moorish Americans need focused reorientation literature. Studies of self should be promoted and encouraged amongst our people. We are well aware that slavery still exists in our land. The Union of States subjugated the Moors through and by government and pseudo-agencies which are operated by the Magna Carta. So this guy is siding with the popes of Rome, right? And everybody's on his nutsack. Talking about, have you listened to this song?
I haven't heard.
And have you listened to this song? I don't want to hear any of it. I'm not a Jay-Z fan at all.
Not Jiggy.
I'm not a Jay-Z fan. You know what I mean?
Guy.
You know, it ain't going down. I don't care if I got it free on. I have a Samsung phone. I don't want it.
I know.
I'm pushing no. I don't want the deal. You know what I mean?
No, I hear what you're saying.
You know what I mean? We're just gonna beat him up for being a Pope lover.
Well, I mean,
right?
I got a Samsung, and when I go on YouTube now, you click a video, they run a little commercial first. Right?
Yeah,
but the joke is because Jay-Z signed a Samsung deal, half of the things you're clicking is the Jay-Z commercial. So he has like 5 different commercials. You know what I mean? But they're all clips. But the joke is, this guy's in the room with the gods. This guy's in the room with like Rick Rubin's in the room. Swizzy's in the room. Pharrell's in the room. Timberland's in the room. And these guys are making crazy beats for this guy. And then he's just like in the background doing his little thing. Talking his shit, whatever he's talking.
Doing his thing. Right?
This guy signed a deal and he's all over YouTube.
Right?
I don't want to see this guy.
And that's how, Avalanche of lies. Because, when you check the records, go back, check the records, you see him with onks and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So it's not like he's not no idiot. He doesn't have knowledge of self.
No, he knows a little bit. Yeah, he's not
an idiot. Something.
No, trust me, he knows.
But he chose to take the side of the feudal barons. And feudal has to do with the popes. People call it what they want. But he's siding with the popes. The same people who are stealing your birthright. The same people who took Noble Drew Ali's idea, right, called ecclesiastical government or theocracy, whatever, and then went to Rome and made somewhere called the Vatican.
Because how old is the Vatican?
Right? That was founded like 1913. Same time as Noble Drew Ali founded his movement. and then they made it a sovereign state, so nobody can touch it.
The smallest
right?
country or whatever nation on the face of the planet.
It's a nation that's in a nation already.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, a state inside a state.
A state inside of a state. And that state has a so-called, library.
Yeah.
That's really housing all the artifacts of the world that belong to the Moors. In their little vault.
Yeah.
In their state.
Yeah.
A state.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be sovereign. Right? But remember, they could do that because that's Europe. So that's that's like the whole Japan thing, right? Going to Japan, they can do that there. They can say yes, we are sovereign in Europe, but if they're coming now to over here now and they're saying, well, yeah, we're United States, sovereign democracy and whatever, and everybody's buying it, right? How are they able to do it? Avalanche of lies, because they say that they're American when they're European. But if they're going to call themselves American because the Americans want to be Negro, black, colored, James, Johnson, Jeffrey, or whatever, then, hey, we're going to use your sovereignty and we're going to rule you under a democracy that you think is a republic.
Yeah. You think this is the way a government should be.
No different.
Democracy is the greatest example of a government.
Right. No different than the Abyssinian monks that people call Ethiopian monks.
But they'll say Abyssinian.
Right. They don't call them Abyssinian. Everybody say Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Haile Selassie, King of Ethiopia. Yeah. When Ethiopia is a private European jurisdiction, right? Because Ethiopia is really Kush. Or Abyssinia.
And that's what I'm saying. These people, the monk will say Abyssinia.
Yeah.
We, or the masses outside, or uneducated, will say Ethiopia.
Right.
East Africa. That's just
right.
Right. Next to Somalia.
Right. And just to show, wearing fezzes.
Look at the brother.
Right. Wearing fezzes.
Rocking the fez, regular. Like this is normal to him.
Regular. Like it's normal. Normal. It's normal to him.
It's the only hat I ever owned.
All they ever own. Right? This is in so-called Africa, where people say, well, the Moors put people in slavery. Well, how come the Abyssinian monks are wearing fezzes still today over there?
If they didn't want to, they could just take it off.
They could just take it off. If this was if this headwear was used for such demonic, devilish,
bad
practices, why are these holy men wearing a fez? And because these are some of the holiest men on the planet.
Yeah,
the Abyssinian monks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
these are some of the holiest people on the planet.
So,
and people recognize them as holy people. You know what I mean? They don't see them as
money people, not war people, not business people,
people
not
about
builders,
peace.
not just
right. You know what I mean? And all that again to make the point that everybody, that's right here, that everybody knows who we are. It's not a secret who we are. But if we don't want to be who we're supposed to be, and we want to be something that we're not, prepare for abuse, right? Because that's what's going to go down. Prepare for abuse if you don't want to be who you are, right? Right? Divine warning by the prophet. So like after we go through all that, then we recognize that there's all these things in the Constitution that we never read before and we never considered before or whatever like that, because we thought that the Constitution was made by Europeans for Europeans. We don't even know that they got that out of the great law of the great peace of the Iroquois Confederation, right, or the Iroquois Nation.
Over here.
They're
here stuff.
Yeah, like Europeans came here and saw the Iroquois running government and said, "Yo, we want to do what you guys are doing
back home
here."
Here,
sorry, we want to do what you're doing here, so we're gonna follow you. How do we whatever? And then we built longhouses, right? And we put them in there and we taught them government. And then longhouses turned into lodges. And then they just took that and they murdered all the people who called themselves the natives, or the Aboriginal people, or the indigenous people, right? Called them Negro, black, colored. Oh yeah, there's Negro over there. Let's grab him. Oh yeah, there's a black guy. Grab that black guy. He just escaped from Mr. John's plantation, over there. And Mr. John doesn't even know what's going on. Mr. John woke up tomorrow and there's people outside picking cotton. Right? And it's his boy. So he, all right, cool. You know what I mean? I'll be down with this. Why not? You know what I mean? You mean I don't have to go out there pick that stuff?
Yeah.
Somebody else gonna do it?
You sure they're gonna do it?
You sure they're gonna do it? Yeah, they'll do it. Don't worry.
Don't worry. Don't worry about it. We gotta do it. They will do it.
You know what I mean? We cut open that other one's stomach or whatever. We rip those two apart by horses or whatever. Don't worry, they'll do it.
Intimidate. They put fear in them.
We put fear in them, so they'll do it. Right? Right? So for us to understand what's going on, right? The people. Oh yeah, this is King Alfred plan. The people hire the politicians so that the people can, 1, obtain security without managing it, right? 2, obtain action without thinking about it. 3, inflict theft, injury, and death upon others without having to contemplate either life or death. 4, avoid responsibility for their own intentions. 5, obtain the benefits of reality and science without exerting themselves in the discipline of facing or learning either of these things. Right? Obtain the benefits of reality and science without exerting themselves in the discipline of facing or learning either of these things, reality or science. Right? They give the politicians the power to create and manage a war machine to 1, provide for the survival of the nation / womb. 2, prevent encroachment of anything upon the nation / womb. 3, destroy those citizens of their country who do not conform for the sake of stability of the nation or womb. Politicians hold many quasi-military jobs, the lowest being the police, which are soldiers, the attorneys and the CPAs next, who are spies and licensed saboteurs, the judges who shout the orders and run the closed union military shop for whatever the market will bear. The generals are the industrialists. The presidential level of commander-in-chief is shared by the international bankers. The people know that they have created this farce and financed it with their own taxes, but they would rather knuckle under than be the hypocrite. This is what they're saying about people. Thus, a nation becomes divided into 2 very distinct parts: a docile subnation and a political subnation. The political subnation remains attached to the docile subnation, tolerates it, and leeches its substance until it grows strong enough to detach itself and devour its parent.
Can detach itself and devour its parents.
Right? The political subnation, U.S. democracy,
yes,
remains attached to the docile subnation, the republic.
Okay.
Tolerates it and leeches its substance, the people, because the people are the government of the republic, and then the democracy is the slaveholders who are leeching off of the people. right? Until it grows strong enough to detach itself and devour its parent. So right now they're at the stage.
What does that tell you that it's their plan is to
right.
Their idea, their
game plan, their MO is to finally rid the world of the parent, which they can't really do because
try. But they can't.
You can't defeat the Moors.
They're gonna exactly
right. Like you can't. They tried with Charles Martel in the Battle of Tours. They tried against Hannibal.
Yeah, like
they tried against
Hannibal, from the days of Hannibal.
You can't defeat the Moors. You might be able to stop the movement of the Moors, slow the movement. Look at Noble Drew Ali. They tried to defeat him. The Moorish nation is still here today. You know what I mean? Still basically dealing with them. You know what I'm saying? Right? And it's obvious, right? It's very obvious that the people are taking that docile position. When we look out there and we see what's going on, like for example, right? Noble Drew Ali made the statement that we are going to be taxed to death. Right? Gas tax, water tax right now.
I get taxed on my pay. Right? They tax my paycheck. I go home, I buy something.
They tax
me there at the store too. So my money got taxed twice.
They tax it all. We're going to be taxed to death.
I don't own the land. I don't own the property the house is on, but I gotta pay a property tax.
But I gotta pay a property tax.
But I can't own the land. The government owns that, but I can't. But I still gotta pay a tax on that.
No, and look how, and this is how they're doing it. One, by us not having a free national name, so we can't argue anything that they do. Because as soon as we argue, they call us rebellious, right? And now we're terrorists. Right? And now they have Homeland Security that they can do anything that they want, take you and hide you away somewhere because you're being rebellious. Whereas if you have free national name and you start, instead of doing like, instead of following the pattern and, using your mouth to try to make a point, you write a letter. That's what intelligent people do.
Write a letter.
Intelligent people write letters.
They don't just sit there and yell.
They don't yell, pick out the phone, yell at people, cuss people on the phone. You're charging me for this, blah, blah. No. You find out who the head is, you do your research on who the head of that corporation is that's bothering you.
And you write them letters.
And you write a letter about how disgruntled you are with their service and that this guy called you 6 o'clock in the morning and then something has to be done with this or they're going to be held liable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But until we get there, we're playing,
we want to yell on the street.
We're playing against the freaking all-star team. And we're bantam.
Yeah. You don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. You're going to get crushed.
Game's over before it started. That's why it's people, our people especially, because people in the world, they recognize the Moors.
But we are lost on the subject.
And when it comes to the Moors, we always have this, taken back approach.
There's kind of
I don't know.
A distaste for it.
Well, I don't want to.
Or whatever.
I don't want to. When the only position that we have
is that.
That's the only position because everything else is fraud. How do we know it's fraud? Because we've been calling ourselves whatever since whenever, and this is where we're at. Like what Bill Cosby saying, you might have pants down here. You know what I mean? Little girls dressing up like they're big women and stuff like that. That's where we're at right now. $500 sneakers, but you're not gonna.
Holcomb Phonics was $200. So
$200, you're not gonna buy that.
No.
Right? You're gonna go take your children to this European school, and then get mad when they get shots for ADHD and all this type of stuff. You took them there. Well, we don't have our own school to go to. Well, why don't you build it? Why don't you build it? and make your son the first student, or your daughter the first student in the school that we need for our communities.
Like for example, Toronto, they have that Afrocentric school, right?
Right.
But it's still part of the TDS, or the you're still part of the Toronto School Board, right?
I didn't know Afrocentric.
So we'll let you teach whatever you want to teach about Afros in Africa.
Sure, go right ahead.
Egypt,
teach about Afros.
Go,
you know what I mean? Do your thing.
You know how to braid hair, whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Whatever, right? Do your thing. You know what I mean?
But it doesn't help. You're still under the umbrella.
And we'll always be under the umbrella. Right? Always be under the umbrella.
Unless you come up under it, you just
and the only way you come out under it is to get your own name and start doing things that are necessary for our posterity, not for us.
The individual.
You know, not for the individual.
Because everyone out
for
here,
the whole.
Everyone out there in the world is pretty much working for them.
Yeah.
I went to school. I went to university to get a degree, to get a good job, to make good money. And then the person I'm with, they better have a degree, have a good job, and make just about, give or take, the same amount of money. Right. You know what I mean?
Whereas, you know, Mr. Chin, he's coming over here, and he's gonna go buy a convenience store. You're not going to go to no school and go spend $50,000 to go be in debt to go get some paper that he can't get no job after. He's going to open a convenience store in that same building that we've been passing for years or whatever, that nobody ever said, hey, you know what, we should probably put a convenience store right there. But no, he's going to come over here from some other country
and do it.
Right? He's going to come here with the status of white man, right? Or the status of white, which gives him the political power to go get that place with no taxes, no nothing. He can go apply for grants, whatever, buy that building,
no problem,
have his family up in there, right, working. They're going to inherit it after generation after generation after generation. They're going to have one house, and then they're going to invite all their family from China to come here, to come live in this one house, 50 of them in one house, and then we're going to be, well, you know, I got to move out because I'm independent. I can't live with my mom because my mom's a bitch or whatever, and blah, blah. And
these people are...
And then these people are, you know, forget the differences, you know. We're going to sit up in this house, you know what I mean? As long as we got to. And then everybody's going to have a house next to each other, and we're going to control this whole block in 10 years.
But that's how they...
right? That's the mentality.
That's for the community. That's a wider...
nationhood.
A wider point of view, right?
They're thinking like a nation.
Everyone else I know is just thinking, just got to get money from me, pay my mortgage, save money, save money.
Right? To go pay a mortgage that you're going to go get a deed that has you listed as a tenant on it.
So why am I paying ownership prices for something that I am a tenant?
You're a tenant on the deed,
and there's
that the lawyer issued, and then the lawyer is the officer of the court.
Yeah,
which means he's not working in your interest, like we're talking about. He's a saboteur. He's a spy.
He's a spy, a saboteur
for the big guys. So you let a spy for the big guys sign your deed to say, oh yeah, you know, you're the one that's whatever. Right?
And if you've seen a deed before, it says tenant on it.
It says tenant on it.
Yeah.
In bold letters. It might even have like little quotations or underline or whatever.
And it'll have a tenant right in there.
Right? Tenant on
I'm the
deed.
owner. I have the deed, but
right? Which is contradictory to a title.
A deed.
Yeah, because the deed
title is
really ownership. But deed is not ownership. No. Deed is just, you know, the deed. You do a good deed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the title is really where the ownership lies.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Right? But then, you know, how are you going to get the title? And everybody's going to think that, you know, to get the title, I guess I'm going to have to go to them and they'll give me a form that says title. No, you're going to be free, right? You're going to be a free national with a free national name, and you create your own title. And you put them on notice that unless they produce something to prove that they're the owners of it.
The onus on them.
Right?
Put the onus
on them to prove that they own it.
No.
Because if I'm the tenant in this document, That means somebody has to be the owner.
Someone must be the owner at the same time.
All right. So if there's an owner, then the owner has to have a title.
So the onus is on you now.
So the onus is on you. Show me the title.
Produce that. Even me as the tenant.
As the tenant, I want to see the title before I pay you another mortgage payment.
It doesn't matter. Shut the lights off.
I want you. Yeah, you shut the lights off. I don't care because
whatever.
if I go talk to the light company and I pay them, they'll put the lights on.
Yeah.
They're not worried about my mortgage payment. That's why that's separate.
Yeah.
That's why the light payment isn't in the mortgage.
In the mortgage.
It's separate because I can deal with them on a one-away.
Yeah.
How come you can deal with them on a one-away and just pay your lights, keep your lights on, but I'm paying this guy who claims that he's the
owner, and
then it's not even a he. It's a corporation called a bank that gave you the mortgage.
That's probably bankrupt or something.
Right? That's a bankrupt corporation. Bankrupt corporation gave me a loan of $500,000 for me to go buy this property to be a tenant.
I bought it, but I'm a tenant.
Right? And when you go talk to Mr. Chin, right, his mortgage payment, right? Don't forget, we have same job, for example. We work same place, next to each other.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
He's in the next cubicle. I'm in this cubicle. My name's Frank, whatever. I'm Asiatic. His name's Lo Mein Chow.
Yeah.
Right?
Like back home
He
style.
has back home style.
Yeah, original.
Right? Original name, right? But he's over here, right? His paycheck and my paycheck are the same. But his mortgage
is less
than my mortgage.
How?
And he has 2 cars, right? And his insurance is about $300, and my insurance is $1,000, and I only have 1 car. And my car's shit, and he has a Benz and a freaking Benz and a Toyota.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he has 50 people living in his house. As soon as I bring somebody to my house, they want to. Well, you got to fill out these forms. You got somebody living here. Well, you need to fill out these forms to make sure that everything's legit. And so, right?
You got 3 people living there now.
You know what I mean?
Up to rent.
Like, how come? Because we don't have a free national name. You know what I mean? And once you have a free national name, lies on you. Lies on you. Lies on you. And then you're just out there.
And you're standing there believing the lies. Like, oh shit, this is against the law. I have to do this.
I have to do this. Oh my gosh.
I have to do this, or I'm in trouble. Or oh my god.
That's another part. That's another way how they get us. You know what I mean? That's another way how they get us.
Just tell them whatever.
Right? By using the lies against us, and then us thinking that, well, you have to be legit.
Real,
like okay, well, I mean, you sent this letter saying that I owe, whatever, like you might even be reading the letter and you start getting the.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit, oh shit. I don't have this money.
Man. How am I going? Oh, I gotta talk to my mom and see if I can get a loan to. Maybe I talk to the bank. No, I can't talk to the bank because I owe them $50,000 for the. Oh my gosh, how am I gonna? When just write them a letter back. Yeah, how you doing? You sent this letter to me, asking me to pay you for something. First of all, you said that that I didn't pay a bill. Well, according to Black's Law Dictionary, a bill is a signed document. And you never send me anything signed. Like, what's going on? I just want to clarify, who you are before I send you this check, you make a little photocopy of it, you make a photocopy, you send it in there, just let you know I got the check right here, but I need to make sure you guys are who you say you are.
A photocopy.
Before I send you
a photocopy of the check. Make sure I got the check.
Just let me know what's up. Let me know what's up. On top of that, I went and did some research and I found out that your corporation's on Dun & Bradstreet. Which means that you're a registered corporation. And if you're a registered corporation, then that means you're connected to this bankrupt entity called U.S. or Canada. Now, since you guys are bankrupt, why am I paying you if you're bankrupt? If I had a credit card and I went bankrupt, and I go to a credit card company and say, I went bankrupt. If you get a credit card, you got to give you a credit card if you're bankrupt. If you just filed Chapter 7, or Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
You're not getting nothing, yo.
You're not getting nothing.
Yo.
Even after the 7 years, you're not getting nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Right? So we'll just close out with the last words from the prophet, so we can, understand that he had a position for us, and we dropped the ball severely, because 100 years later, and we're still paying people taxes who's supposed to be paying us taxes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me remove this great sin which is being committed and is being practiced by my people in the United States of America, not the U.S. Right? Making a distinction. Because they know it is not the true and divine way, and without understanding, they have fallen from the true light into the utter darkness of sin. And there is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc. That's similar to what Bill Cosby was saying. Right? In their present condition of their endeavorment, in which they themselves try to force upon a civilized world, they will not refrain from their sinful ways of action, and their deeds, not their titles, right? Their deeds have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to human beings on earth. And they fought the Southerner for all these great misuses. But I have traveled in the South, when he went to go visit Marcus Garvey in prison, right? And have examined conditions there. Talk to Marcus Garvey. Why is his name Garvey? And it is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, calling yourself something that you're not, disgrace, calling yourself something that you're not, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life. And I am hereby calling on all true American citizens for moral support and finance to help me in my great missionary work to bring my people out of darkness into the marvelous light, from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And you could just go do your research on divine warning by the prophet for the nations. All Moors out there have it. They can't change it. It is what it is. Prophet wrote it. Go read that. Go study that, so you can understand what the movement is about. Because that would tell you. Because that's a divine warning by the prophet, and it's for the nations. Not divine warning for the Moors.
For the Moor nation, just the Moors.
Or divine warning for the Asiatics. This is divine warning for the nations.
Everyone. It's down to every individual. There's 7 billion people on the earth, and
every individual. This divine warning is for. But who has ears to hear, let them hear, and who has eyes to see, let them see. And if you don't want to, then it's no problem. Just
that's cool.
Get your ass pads, cause
get it.
Because if you don't listen to the prophet, you're gonna get it. Believe me, you're gonna get it, and you're gonna be sorry. You know what I mean? So Islam to all the Moors online, right? You already know what's good. Go out and see if you can get this one. We didn't get to read from it today, but next week we'll hit this one up. The first Americans were Africans, and remember, African is synonymous with Moor. So the first Americans were Moors, right? Documented evidence, and that's by David Imhotep.
This guy's a brother in America,
right? Yeah, right.
How much is that book?
We read from $30.
Okay, something like that.
We read from Moorish Guideposts today, Rid of Error. You can get this at moorishguidepost.com. It's from Grand Sheik Nature El Bay in Ashbury Park territory. This is their paper.
What's the 2006 AD?
Yeah, so this is from 2006. They've been putting it out. Right? And then and you already know King Alfred Plan, that people say that it's this from some fictional novel or whatever like that. It's not real. When what I say to them is 1984 was fictional, and all that stuff's happening right now.
1984 is fictional.
Right? And again, the man who carried the cross for Jesus, right?
Simon.
Quality religious books for children, right? And don't forget also too, his prophecies and hadiths, Moorish literature, proclamation, sacred warnings to all of humanity, Noble Jew Ali. And you could get this at sevensealspublications.com, or you could just talk to any Moors and you can get that. We get this closed out with the prayer. And don't forget this weekend, Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey, Amir Taj Tariq Bey, first lecture. First lecture at the new spot. If we could rise, 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through His holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali. Islam, Islam, Islam. Peace and Hotep Moors. Good class. See y'all next week.
Yeah, a lot of
class and today. We also
yeah, a lot in class.
We also today. Referenced
I was gonna say we had a lot.
Yeah, we had it was between 7 and 9 off and on.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, good number. And we also referenced Black's Law Dictionary today also. Islam.